We are live now, and it's so nice to actually have a discussion with you. And thank you so much because I know you've been like sort of interviewing so many people from various walks of life, and I'm so inspired by you with the kind of energy that you interview every so many people every day. I'm part of your WhatsApp group, and I know, I mean, that WhatsApp group is vibrating. It's kind of vibrating all the time. So I pick in some inspiration from there too. So Jyothi, hey, so thanks so much for joining this particular live discussion. And for the benefit of everyone, let me introduce you first. And I'll read that so that I keep saying this so that I don't make any mistake, especially on
Yeah.
introduction. Yeah. So welcome to this beautiful discussion on women.
Thank you for calling me. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so great. So let me just introduce you. So Jyothi Srinivas is a media professional and a counseling psychologist, and I think this is one of her latest, feather in the cap kind of a thing. Being in media professional for more than 17 years, she's been in television, radio, and OTT. I don't know what OTT means, but you can clarify that.
I
And
will.
she's
I will.
sorry.
I will clarify it.
Yeah, sure. So heading teams as non-fiction head, regional head programming. I think she's been in the media creative team, and after leading the teams for almost a decade, she actually found out that she had to enhance herself. So she also did counseling psychology, and she owns a page called Jyothi Studio Live especially created during pandemic times because she felt that there has to be positivity among people. And she started doing these live shows daily. Imagine daily she does interviews, daily interviewing different people who are the real heroes, she calls them, and they have real stories. And I was one of the privileged ones to get interviewed with her. This and can be an inspiration to men. So she's basically felt that this can be an inspiration to many to stay positive in any given situation within a period of whatever during the pandemic time, so that and she's done more than 100 live shows with 100 unique people, and it continues. I know, Jyoti, it's a I know the vibrance. So hey, thanks so much again for joining. And do you have to say anything, or do we move on?
We will move on. And first thing is, I want to thank you, Preetha, because you are doing fabulous. I love the way you conduct show, and the way you also enhance people, motivate people. That's something which I always look at your live shows also. Whenever you do it, but it's very nice to be in your show.
Hey, thanks, Jyoti. Hey, thanks so much. So we motivate each other here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So great. So hey, today's topic I wanted to deal a little bit with women leadership, and I wanted to start off asking you this question: Is leadership gender specific? What do you think, Jyoti? What are your thoughts?
See, leadership doesn't have to be gender specific because, see, I worked in television. I worked in OTT. OTT is over the top, which means your apps, your like your something like your Prime, Amazon Prime, or whether it is your Netflix, Z5, whatever it is. So
Okay.
when it's called OTT. So it's a over the top content. So that's why it's called OTT, because something unique content you're doing. So
Mm.
whether it's OTT, I have headed teams in Z5 or Big, or even in earlier companies. I worked in Gemini Television. So when I worked all these places, I've always found that it's not gender differentiation in leadership, but
Yes.
everything is the same thing. But only one thing I think is, when it comes to women, they have little more of what you call as empathy,
Mm.
which I think men also have, but it is not shown obvious. Yeah, it's the
Got
same
it.
thing. But when maybe when women are more expressive, or women are genetically like that, I really don't know. But I found all the women, whether with whom I have worked, or myself also after becoming in the leadership level, I also found that that thing possesses in us.
Yes.
That's a quality of women, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that, Jyoti, because probably of, the natural nurturing skills that we have, I totally agree with you. So what do you think, like some of the characteristics you already mentioned, what are the characteristics of women? Anything specifically? So you're basically saying empathy. Empathy is one thing that comes naturally,
Yeah.
for a woman leader as opposed to a man leader. Not necessarily that men are not empathetic, but women it comes in. That's what you're saying, right?
Naturally, and it was also shown while we talk also.
Right.
Sometimes, for example, if somebody is going through a bad phase,
Mhm.
when in their performance, if an employee is going in a bad phase, we generally don't use harsh words. Yes, we use sometimes, but it is not like, though we use it, we again go back and, rewind what we have spoken, and we give some time.
Yes, yes.
That is what I meant,
Okay. So which is
precisely give an example.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, and with that is linked to the communication style. And in fact, I was going to ask you a question around that as to how do you think is it different for men and women? And what are your thoughts? Can you bring in some more thoughts on the communication style of women leaders, having worked in senior leadership and various positions?
Correct,
Can you bring
correct.
in a little more details around that?
Yeah, see, style you have asked, the style is the same. But one thing I found is women are very much dedicated, and they say multitasking. I say more than multitasking. There's nothing like multitasking according to psychologists, because I study psychology. I'm
Yes,
telling
yes,
you, you can do only one thing at one time. Okay,
yes,
it's not
yes.
the multitasking is not possible. It's a fancy word which has come up. So, but what happens is women have the style of being very passionate of work, and that makes them do multiple things of the same, because whatever they do, they do with passion, whether it's cooking, whether it's taking care of family, whether you're in the leadership level at an office, you do with the same passion, you do with the same style, and you want to be a perfectionist in everything. Otherwise, you
Okay.
don't do.
Right, right.
Right.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
You don't, that is something which I find in women, you do it with perfection and also with passion.
Yes, yes. So does that sometime go against what she is wanting to do, the perfectionism? Because you very rightly said that you want to do everything well. There's so many things you want to do, and everything you want to do it well. So does that go against women at times?
No,
What do you think?
no, I don't think so. It goes well every time, but sometimes in some
Mm.
situations we have to take something light.
Yes.
Sometimes it happens. We have to take light lay low, light is all this happens. You're
Yes.
too big and too aggressive. You take light. Yeah, I want to mention an incident which
Mhm.
happened quite long time. So that was initially when I was promoted as the programming head. Where I was, it's way back in 2011. Okay, so when
Mhm.
I was promoted as programming head for entire region of Telangana and Andhra, so
Mhm.
we were doing something called RJ Marathon when we had a Shaker to do. Shaker is an RJ, so Shaker
Okay.
Basha to do a marathon of being 100 hours non-stop. So
Okay.
I was so aggressive, so passionate that I used to be with him for 100 hours in the studios
Oh.
constantly.
Mhm.
My own team members, whether my team, the show directors and show producers or whatever assistants, they used to tell you go home, man. But what happens if we become too much involved and too passionate? I used to get calls from my national head saying that you're becoming too aggressive. I
Okay.
want to develop something creative about it. Every
Yes.
time I used to feel that this should go on air, and this should something you
Mhm.
should captivate this audience. This so that is something I think sometimes we do too much, and that is not required, and that's the thing which I learned it very later on.
Mm.
It took me a decade to learn, but yeah, nowadays everybody are when not too much aggressive or too much. They know how much to do, how much
How
not to do,
much?
whether it's men or women.
Yeah, I mean, we have to learn through the ropes, as we're going up the ladder and all that. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So talking about, a little bit about branding, self-branding. So there is Uma Shri Kumar who's saying, "What about your personal life? How do you manage that?" Is Uma is asking. I don't know if you want to answer that, Jyothi,
Yeah,
and then
yeah. Personal life. I'm very lucky, to have a wonderful husband, and my parents, my in-laws, everybody are supportive. In a way, my dad was in film industry. That's the reason it made me to come into this industry of media, and
okay.
my husband is also into film industry, so he
Oh,
knows everything.
so
My dad was a director, my husband is a producer. So everybody knows what I'm doing. So
right.
it's, they know that I'll be working 16 hours, 17 hours in a day in the office or somewhere, I'll be somewhere. So they know that, and it was not, since I had them, it was not like it was an easy thing.
Hmm.
I started off from the root, yeah.
Scratch. Yes.
Years from the root as an assistant, as an intern in Germany to what
Hmm.
I am now. So it's a step by step. It's not like I got it immediately just because I had a background. No, nothing like that. I generally went proper interviews, proper. I finished my mass communication. Everything I did to be in media. Yeah,
Yeah, excellent. So you're basically saying you went step by step, and created this for yourself. So that's why
absolutely.
you're getting interviewed today, Jyoti. There's no doubt about that. And let me bring us to this question of self branding. I mean, is it true that women leaders don't brand themselves as much as men? Not only leaders, women in general, right? Is there a tendency?
Unfortunately, women don't brand. That's true.
Yeah. Hmm.
Very few people know. We can count in fingers. Very few women brand themselves. But you'll be surprised to know most of the companies have women as their key team leaders. Of course,
Correct.
there are very few CEOs. Let
Hmm.
me tell all that also. But
Yes.
when it comes to the core team, it's always the women. Not only in media, non-media also. I'm talking. The
Hmm.
core team will always be, 70% it will be women only. Only I think 30% men. But
Right.
yes, we are unfortunately we are very less CEOs of big corporate
Yeah.
companies. But I think now it is changing. Yeah, it's not like what it was.
It has
Yeah,
increased. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
yeah.
As you've already touched upon, core 30%, whatever you said, 70% women and
70% are women actually. Yeah.
yeah. In fact, at the entry levels, you'll see a lot of women there, and then as and when they, they're getting promoted, then they reach the leadership level. You'll see there are only 0.2% of women there who are at the leadership level, right?
Unfortunately,
So what
unfortunately.
about, I wanted to ask this question of women in leadership and its importance. How do you think it's really important? As a one is in the house, then it becomes the complex, then it becomes a society, and then in a company, right? When you join a
Correct.
company, and of course, so how does it make it? How important it is for women to take the post of leadership? What do they
See,
bring? Hmm.
See, what happens is we all know we from the childhood our own parents. If you see my mother was not in a leadership kind of a thing. She was a homemaker and also she was running her own business. But if you see when she was running her business or when she was doing at home, the leadership quality possessed in the women much earlier. Actually, if you see, they are not taught, they learn by looking the surroundings. That actually has, see, in leadership quality you should be, you need other qualities of being what you know the market, and what are the people, and correct choosing the right people. All these are the leadership quality. Above all is managing the people. If you see, if you're in leadership level, 60% of your work would be managing the team. Okay, the
Yeah.
team. There'll be many people, different people under you or with you. So you have to have that thing to manage the team. So 60% will be understanding your team and understanding their problems, and making them to perform well. And
Yes.
the rest 40% will be your actual work, whether you're in
Mm.
business or whether in creative team or whatever you are. So I think when it comes to women, they know to align both of this.
Mm.
So they know that if you can handle your team properly, everything will be set. Instead of firing each one of them, you know,
Yes. Yes.
that shouldn't be the. He's not performing this a quarter. We'll two more quarters. We'll see, and we'll fire him. That shouldn't be the thing, which women generally don't do. Trust me. I was having one of team member. I think he's from Bangalore. I actually had to have him for almost a year. After putting him into PEP and everything. PEP is a performance
Yes.
upgradation or whatever you call. Yeah. So the thing which the HR does when somebody is not performing. Generally what happens is they give only one quarter, but I kept him for a year because I understood that when he was capable of doing for 5 long years, why he's not able to do it now, because there is
Mm.
something which is happening. See, everybody cannot perform well every time. There'll be some reason,
Mm.
which will be personal, or which will be something with him itself. So it will take time. So we give much more time, and we understand people's mind. That I think that is what a woman brings in when it comes to the company. It's not like you hire everyone. The attrition level is also
Fire.
very low when you have women as the leaders.
Nice.
That's all.
Very nice example. And I think you have so much of patience. I mean, that means you have really coached that individual
Of
and
course.
brought him up to the, as you very rightly said, in fact, the term that you use there is inclusive leadership. You must have heard
Correct.
of it, where you've included
Yeah.
this person and really coached him. So nowadays, we say that leaders as coaches. So you have played that role up. So great to hear that story, Jyothi, because not all of them do that, especially in a corporate environment. People will say, I have targets to meet. How can I take care of people? I mean, there are a few who do. Probably that you are a part of those few who really coach. So I'm
Yeah,
very glad to,
I
yeah.
think that's
So,
because I had a wonderful CEO. Okay, his name is Tarun Katyal. He was with Big FM. I think from initial stage, I look up to him, and I got trained under him. So Tarun was somebody who always tells that people should not leave you because you're a bad boss. That's something always was in
sat
my
in.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always in my mind. If he's underperforming, it's because of you, not because of his thing. So when
Mm.
he has performed very earlier and is not performing now, then that's problem is with you, not with him. So I think my CEO is somebody whom I always look up to, and I really I'm very fortunate to work under him and learn many things. And he used to send us for all the trainings. Yeah, he is a very strict boss and everything when it comes to work, but he is somebody who taught all of us. That's why we were sticking on so many years with Big FM. Like me, there are many other people who were with Big FM because he is the CEO. You love somebody and you want to be with some leaders to whom you look at. Same thing happens when you develop that thing, you pass on to somebody else. So
Yes, yes.
I think that's, even if you see my own team, whether it's in Bangalore or they're the same people who are from 10 years, 12 years, yeah, like that. So that's how it
Okay,
is.
very nice, very nice. So I'm sorry, I was just okay. So what you're saying is bosses matter, you know, and
Absolutely, absolutely.
it's because when I think it's so nice of you to have said talked about your boss, and you've like
Correct.
taken some qualities from him, and you're trying to
Absolutely.
behave in the same way, and you've coached
Yeah.
this person and brought him up the curve. So beautiful. So so
Yeah.
one last question, and then we'll move to like sort of a rapid fire questions and close it. So you know,
I'm
the
so worried about your rapid fire questions.
no, 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 don't be. It's good. We'll just make it fun. We'll make it fun
Yeah.
and close. You know,
Yeah.
representation of women in different sectors. Like, you know, what do you think it is increased? Do you think it is decreased? How is it? You know, always there is a gap. You know, I know for sure that whether women are getting promoted to the leadership level, there is a lot of effort that, you know, HR or people do for to bridge that gap because that gap always exists, you know. So from what it was earlier to now, what do you think, has it improved in various sectors, you know, manufacturing setups, whatever, how do you call, how would you represent this?
See, I will represent more for, there'll be other sectors, but I will represent for media because I have to talk about media. When I
Yeah.
initially started, it was like everybody wanted to become a doctor and everybody wanted to become an engineer in all my friends. When I took up media, very few people were there. And
Mm.
when I started, there were very few women leaders. I can actually count on my fingers because
Mm.
I worked in other companies like Germany, Easy, and everywhere I worked, and I've seen that very few women were there. But now there's lot of changes. There's
Mm.
lot of changes happening. Women are, even if they have taken a break personally for whether it's a maternity pause which they take, or when they do take for their personal reasons, and they come back, they bounce back, and it's lot of help is happening these days, which was not even 5 years ago. Let me tell you very
A
frankly.
lot of support
Uh,
is there.
that 5 years ago, that was not there. If you go for maternity leave, that's all, you go home like that. You know?
Yeah. Now policy changes. So there is
So
this
all this change,
Manu,
and
Manu
it's
and
unfortunate now. I'm telling you.
okay, okay, sure. Sorry. No, so there's a person saying, please tell us your strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat SWOT analysis. He's saying, there's someone
Oh
asked.
my God, you want to do SWOT analysis for me. I think I'll answer him personally for that. That will take a long list to talk
Yeah,
about
and
my
that's an
strength.
art directly. Yeah, looks like
Yeah.
he knows you well, or it's called.
He follows all of my shows, yeah. So I
Mm,
think, yeah, maybe I'll answer him
yeah, go ahead.
for this, yeah. You want me to answer now? No, I'll answer him for the message comment section.
So he says,
Yeah,
delighted to know who you are, Jyothi. He says he's
yeah.
really
Thank you
delighted.
so much. Thank you so much.
Swecha Manavatanath Roy.
Roy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So great. So you can answer it now, maybe, or because we should definitely take care of the audience questions. Uh,
Yeah, see, the question is very difficult to answer. Yeah, what should I say? I mean, strength, I will say, I should boast of myself. Yeah.
no, one word,
Strength,
one word, no, one word you can say.
strength,
Uh,
I say, I am. I am very. I'm not very stubborn with people. I don't
I
say
think
it.
you're very approachable. You're extremely
I
approachable,
am approachable. Yeah, take
friendly
me.
and approachable. Yeah.
Yeah, weakness. I think I get carried away sometimes. That's the problem. Uh,
Okay.
trust people very soon.
Yeah.
I think I'm changing now. I'm not like that. I used to trust a lot in whatever people used to say. I think that quality of being a leader, you shouldn't have it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Genetically, I'm like that only. I don't know. Every time I get
So,
fooled by my own team people. That's one thing.
so Harshita
I,
says, I would say your humble and jolly nature is your strength. Harshita,
oh, hi, Harshita. Thank you so much.
you
Uh,
are a symbol for self-esteem and confidence, says Svecha.
oh yeah,
See,
thank you
there's
so much.
literally followers of you, Jyoti. So great.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think yeah, they all watch my show. Thank you so much, for coming and watching Preetha's show. It's honored to be in her show also. I mean,
Yeah. Okay, so
looking at
thanks, Jyothi. So, hey, you can ask me one question, and then what we'll do is we will move into the rapid fire round. A quick, little bit fun and close this. Is that okay? So, you can ask me one question now, linked to obviously my
Yeah,
profession.
I want to ask about your the brand you're creating now. The thing, what is it about, and how are you? Doing everything so flawless. How are you doing it, and what is it actually?
Flawless. Thanks for saying that, Jyoti. I make so many mistakes, I must tell you. If you're saying it's flawless, I'll go by that. But yeah, I think this is about my vision of helping 100,000 women become self reliant. And that's what I'm doing. And in that, in fact, I'm a women's independent, I position myself as a coach. Women's independent. I'm
Okay.
a life coach. So basically, currently, I'm coaching women from IBM, Cognizant. There are doctors, there are people, banker, there's a teller I'm coaching. So, I help people make goals and help them achieve it. So in this whole digital journey, like, I used to be, I mean, I started off thinking, okay, I should increase my number of hours in coaching. But I then went into this digital platform, and in that made courses online, and then with that, I now have this hub, which is the Women's Self-Reliance Hub, which is what you're a member of. And
Yeah.
that is, so
I'm
there
very
are
happy to be the part of your hub. Yeah, it's like something. Freelance is something which each one of us should do. Actually,
yeah.
yeah, I think you're
Like
doing
in
it
fact,
very well.
thanks, Jyoti. Like you're doing your shows, right? This is another way of. In fact, I wanted to ask you how to increase the engagement in the hub because I feel it's not as much. I think I need to increase it even more. So one of the ways of increasing engagement is through FB Lives. So I have.
Yes.
Uh, I'm doing these specific FB Lives with my own members of my own hub, so that people,
Correct.
right? So that is one way. So I think contact. I mean, it'd be great if people contact me and I can help them, make their goals and reach them, so that there are more and more women who become self-reliant. Okay, and I think I should. Now I should go to the rapid fire question. Otherwise, I'll go
Okay.
on talking about. Yeah.
No,
So
not like that. I'm worried about the rapid fire questions.
don't
I
be worried.
always ask somebody. You are asking me rapid fire. That's worrying me.
Yeah, no problem. So it's going to be quick, and let's start off and close it.
Yeah.
So, what do you love doing when no one is around?
I'm a makeup this thing. Yeah.
Free.
Like absolutely the right word you used because all my in my house, no, everybody shouts at me. Everybody gets angry if I constantly you may do some experiments. I do lots of experiments in makeup. Okay, I'll change my hairstyle. I do eyeliner, something. I'll put some YouTube because otherwise, if I'm alone only, I do this because if I'll become like one vampire. Yeah, if I do so I try different kinds of makeup. That is something which I do it alone when nobody is there.
Very nice. Okay.
Pamper yourself. That
Okay. Nice.
doing makeup is something which I like to do. Yeah.
Nice, nice. There are some more questions people are asking, but let me finish the rapid fire round. What do you
Yeah.
think of people who jump the signal when no one is around?
I think they are in a hurry. Yeah. That's why.
Yeah, is
They
it?
have to use washroom or something like that.
That is a good answer, but then we need to, don't you think they need to be responsible? What is your
They
take on it?
need to be responsive. Whatever we say, we talk, they're not going to change. And unfortunately, even the educated people do that. That's why
Yes.
I've stopped driving cars. I
Mhm.
stopped driving because I hit a very big bad accident while driving to my office.
Okay.
It was earlier in Begumpet. I used to drive and I hit because they suddenly crossed in front of me and I had to hit on the platform in the bridge. So it was horrible. I would have met in a terrible accident. So I think they don't have really brains or they don't have anything. Whatever coaching, whatever thing police do for them, they're not going to change for them. I mean, they're
Yeah.
not going to change. They're like that. You can't help such people,
I
even the
understand.
educated people, kids, students, all these people must, I don't know what to do.
At least kids and students should not do that. The older
Yeah.
ones, I guess, as you said, we can only tell them, right? So, okay,
Yeah.
so food and self-reliance. Is there a connection? Like self-reliance is,
Yeah, absolutely.
what is your
Food is
favorite?
something which I mad of. I'm trying to I control a lot so that I don't put on too much. For me, the smell of food makes me to put on weight.
Yeah,
So
same here.
so I generally love food, and I love all. I'm a vegetarian. Actually, I don't even eat egg. Also, I eat everything. I'm not a fussy person. I eat all the food. I love to taste all the vegetarian food.
So,
So,
what is a self-reliant food? What is that quick self-reliant?
um, self-reliant food.
That is when you're not, when no one is there, what will you quickly make?
Quickly make. I love paneer. I think I'll do
Okay. So,
paneer.
okay, so do you want to do something in terms of giving a message to all the people who are watching you? In fact, Svecha is asking, what is your message to youngsters who strive for success? And any strong message you want to give to women?
Yeah.
With you can also we'll end it with some kind of a showcase that you want to do your talent or anything that's fine, but along with the message. Go ahead.
See, the message to the women or for anybody I just want to do is to say is that take it at a time, go with the flow, don't do many things, or don't get hurried that somebody is becoming this, somebody is becoming that. Why am I like this? I'm doing so much, I'm not able to achieve something. Things don't happen as you imagine. Everything will take its own time. You should give time, take a break, then do it. Everything needs time. Everything will not happen overnight. Just because somebody has got it, you don't expect that they are very in a flowery stage or whatever. You are in a very bad stage. Don't compare yourself with somebody, because what happens is when you are working, whether you are in the leadership level or when you're working women or a man or whoever it is, they always start comparing themselves to somebody else. That's what leads to a lot of problems when you cool down, and they want to do many things which is not possible as humans. Give it a time. Even if you want to do many things, give it little space, take some time, take a break, and then do it. Do slowly. Otherwise you will end up in hospital, that's for sure, either in mental hospital or in you'll become physically unwell.
Correct.
That's because I have experience. I am also like that. I also wanted to do many things.
Yes,
I
yes.
want to
And
do
as
that. I wanted to learn dance, continue my dancing. I wanted to do this, that. That's too much,
yes,
and
yes.
you end up in problems. So that's something you shouldn't do.
I agree. I agree. And I think we have a tendency of wanting to do everything and doing everything well. That's somewhere we
Everything,
will well. So Swecha
absolutely.
asked, are you an introvert or extrovert? The flag of smile hoisted in your face. How did you achieve? So Swecha seems to be a super fan of yours. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so
I'm
I
not an
can
introvert at all. I am not an
that I can
introvert.
see and
I
yeah.
can't keep anything in my stomach or anything in my head. I can't sleep with it. Or that's something I tell it on the face. Yeah, whatever others think, let them think that at least I'm true to what I'm saying. So I'm not an
We can
introvert.
see your genuinity, Jyothi. Thank you so much. Then the flag of smile hoisted in your face. How did you achieve? How do you smile so genuinely?
I don't know. I don't know. That you should ask my parents. They also have wonderful smile, so I got it maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's true. So great, hey Jyoti. So great for being part of this, show. And in fact, as being a member of my hub, Women's Self Reliance Hub. In fact, I'll take your help. We'll probably have some panel discussions with some people whom you think is relevant, and we can talk about this topic. And you can also please encourage, when posts are made, you can put in certain posts in the hub too. Promoting self reliance in the hub and I have a YouTube channel, Preetha Balakrishnan. All of you can, subscribe to it, and you can log in to my course, which I do, which is called "Discover the Superwoman in You in 5 Days." It's just for 499 rupees. So Jyothi, you can ask your people to join too. It's
Yeah,
all.
I will see people who are watching the show now and will watch it later.
Yeah.
Please, anyways, I'll be posting this on all my pages. This interview. Please, go to her course, and then you will find yourself different.
Yes.
Whether whatever you might be homemaker, you might be a student, you might be working, whatever you are, you need sometimes somebody to tell what is correct, what is wrong.
Yeah.
And that's when you need some experts.
Yes.
I'm telling it because I have attended lots of such kind of courses, which has enhanced me. This is something you learn from people, watching people, and you need people to make you understand what you are. So
Yeah.
that's when you need people like Preetha. So
Yeah. Sure. So please,
that course.
yeah, thank you so much, Jyoti. So please join my course and get yourself one-to-one coached with me, and I'll help you make goals and achieve it. So thanks again for your time and patience and lovely smile, and your followers are there asking you more questions. Delighted to watch. They say thanks. So thanks again, and we'll meet again in a panel discussion.
Thank you so much.
So do you want to do a what do you say, mimicry and close or something like that? You said you would.
Yeah, I thought I will do, but since your time is up, you want me to
Well,
wind
go
up?
ahead. No. If you're going to do it, we'll do it. We'll do that. With close it with that.
Yeah, see, I have a very close friend. Okay, I'm not going to take her name, but generally, she's very and all. I don't want to take her name and all. So when she talks to somebody, like when she's talking to everybody, she uses a very different accent. Okay, and when she talks, like when she's talking to us and all, she'll talk in a different accent. Now,
Okay.
like the accent she uses is very unique. She includes words and also. Like she says, నేను చెప్పాను కదా నేను రానని why do you చేస్తావు నన్ను నాకు ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇప్పుడే వెళ్ళాలి ఏం చేస్తున్నారు మీరు all this kind of accent she has. So it's quite funny, and she's so sweet, and that's how she is. And every time I mimic her, when I talk to her also, ఎప్పుడు బయలుదేరుతున్నావు so something like that.
So with that,
With her accent. She's she's staying in India now and she's working now. So, but she has this accent, and I always mimic her Telugu accent, fake accent. I keep telling inta fake ga evaru matladu.
So maybe she's
when she's scolding somebody also, ఈ చెత్తనా కొడుక్కి అప్పుడే చెప్పాను.
Wow. So
Driver or somebody like ఈ చెత్తనా కొడుక్కి టైమింగ్ సెన్స్ లేదు.
So it doesn't seem like a scolding at all.
So funny, so sweet the way she talks, Yeah. Like
So I hope she's seeing your show, and I hope we don't know what she's going to say. You can manage that. But
Yeah.
Like one of your friends said, you really have such a bubbly nature, and that smile in your face with genuinity. I really enjoyed this interaction. It was really good fun. Great, Jyothi. So I'm going to call you more on to my hub with more people whom you think are relevant, who can add value to this hub.
Sure,
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.